Hey there, everybody. This is Pastor Charlie. It's Wednesday, the 7th of October, and I'm here with your midweek Keeping Connected video. You might know the name Matt Redman. Redman is a worship leader and Christian songwriter who has written worship songs and hymns that have been sung all over the world for the last 25 years or so. One of his most famous songs is one of his earliest ones from the late 90s. It's called Heart of Worship. The words of the chorus of that song go like this: I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. Redman tells the story of how that song came to be written. He had been the worship leader of a large church in Watford in England, a church called Soul Survivor, and they had developed a name for having a quite brilliant worship band. Sunday after Sunday, people would flock to hear this wonderful sound that they were making. They had all of the drums and the bass guitars, maybe a horn section. They had great vocalists with them on stage. And it very quickly became apparent to Redman and to the leaders of that church that the gaze of the people who were coming was not directed at God at all. And actually, it was directed simply at the band. They were showing up for a performance every Sunday morning and not giving their worship unto God. And so they made a really big decision. They stripped it all away. They took away all those instruments and the extra vocalists. They took away the big sound that they had been making. They stripped it all right back to just Matt Redman, the 6 strings of his guitar, and his voice to lead hundreds of people in worship every week. Over the weeks and months after that, as they told the story of why they had been doing it, and as they led the people in their praises and worship there, they began to notice that a change was taking place. The gaze of the gathered congregation was no longer on the band up front, but it was returning to God. They were getting back to the heart of worship. We're in a season, an ongoing season. You know it as well as I do. We're in this season where it seems like everything has been stripped back, stripped away. And we have to find out what the heart of worship is for us in this time when it's harder for us to gather, when it's harder for us to sing, to make music, to pray together, to have Bible study together in the ways that we've been used to over all of the years running up to 2020. This is a hard season for all of us, in which we all have to come back to the question, what is the heart? Where is the heart of our worship? Can we find it in this season when everything else has been stripped away? Sure, we have backyard worship, we have Facebook Live services on Sunday morning, but we know that it's just not the same. It's still on us to discover how it is we can find God in the midst of this desert season that we feel like we are in. So my question to you today is, how are you doing that? And how are you doing in that journey? It's a desperate struggle, I get it. I've had days whenever it has been the hardest thing in the world for me to find any closeness with God. But there have also been days and experiences in which I have found God to be closer than I've ever known God before. And that brings me back to the passage that Pastor Drew preached from on Sunday morning from Philippians chapter 3. Let me read to you those words. Paul says, not that I have already obtained this or have already reached the goal, but I press on to make it my own, because Christ has made me his own. Beloved, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but this one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on towards the goal for the prize of the heavenly call of God in Christ Jesus. In this season, when it's so difficult for us to be moved forward by services at church or classes together, in this season when we maybe feel very alone in this journey, can I direct you back to the scriptures?